Charlie Parsons, boxing social in association with William Hill and Empire Fight Store. Adam Morallee, we had a little coffee earlier, had a chat last night. We haven't done an interview this week. Now is our time to talk. How are you, mate?
I'm good, thanks. Great to see Sol win his first title.
Look, let's speak straight about that second round stoppage. Just quite dominant overall. I know there are a few complaints, but the corner seemed ready to throw the towel in anyway. Also nice, as I was saying to him, we've sort of seen his personality a lot this week as well. And when someone comes at him, he can give it a little bit back.
I think when Sol faces someone from England, English speaking, it's a lot easier to give it back. You know, credit to Rob Ismay, made it into a very fun build up to the fight, had a lot to say for himself. Undefeated fighter in front of his home crowd, very brave guy, did not take a step backwards in that fight. And the first round was fairly even, I thought. Ismay caught Sol with a shot. I think that really woke Sol up. And Sol closed the show in the second round.
I was saying to him about the Kamil Sokolowski fight, which is like a year and a half ago now. And when we look at sort of heavyweights stepping up, it's Sokolowski's a name that we always say, look, get in the ring with him. He had that fight so long ago, which is technically almost, you could say, higher than English level in some aspect. It's been a weird sort of 18 months for him. Now the path to just progress and keep it on an upward spiral.
He's 29 years old, and we've got to push Sol on. And as I think Sol said when you were just interviewing him, he's not afraid of anyone. He wants to keep progressing up. I think there are great fights out there. I think next natural step for Sol is the British title. I think Fabio's got it at the moment. That's a good fight. I think him v Fraser Clark is a great fight. Great fight for the Midlands. You know, a Midlands dust-up. I don't know if there's ever been a Midlands heavyweight British title fight between the two guys, the two top amateurs on GB. And, you know, Sol wants that fight because Fraser took his place on Team GB, got a bronze medal. And Sol wants to show he's better than Fraser.
Is that something that's realistically possible? I mean, we haven't seen too much cooperation with Boxer and Matchroom just yet, but
I think it's got to be ordered for the British title. I don't know what Fabio's doing. It may be that Fabio fights Sol, but if Fabio doesn't fight Sol, Fabio could go on to, you know, there's different routes available for him, more kind of world level, European level things. Then the board could order Sol against Fraser. I think that's a great fight.
We have to talk about Fabio Wardley quickly. Someone who didn't have any amateur experience and now finds himself as the British champion. Brilliant performance against Nathan Gorman last time out. Say that is the fight for Sol. You're happy to put him into that now?
Absolutely. Straight away, I mean, there's no problem fighting Fabio. I mean, I've got the greatest respect for Fabio and his team. We know him very well. He's sparred a lot of our guys. He's a top guy. I think this is the kind of thing the fans want. They want to see up-and-coming prospects fight each other. I mean, Sol's got a much longer amateur background than Fabio. Fabio, I think, you probably know, Charlie, he's 15-0, something like that. Yeah. He's had a lot more pro fights. I think it's a great fight, and certainly one Sol will be up for.
Adam, let's talk about the rest of the SJAM stable. I know Shane, our friend, is out in Vegas doing a camp with Joe Joyce ahead of his fight with Joyce-Zhang. Just firstly on that, not far away now. Excited again for Joe to be out again in London?
Yeah, absolutely. Joe Joyce nights are very special. I think Joe is, you know, the heavyweight. He's the one to watch. He causes a problem for everyone in the heavyweight division. He's taken a tough fight on sitting as WBO interim world champion, whereas if the belts get vacated, Joe becomes a full world champion. So there's no real reasons for Joe to take risks, but Joe's probably in the top 15, taking, you know, outside of the top guys, very big risk in Joyce-Zhang.
We've seen a few funny bits come out on social media. Big Bang walking in and saying, "Hey Joe, I'm here," and Joe just going, "I don't know what you said, to be honest, mate." We know Joe can sometimes not be the best talker, but he actually does make quite an entertaining build-up.
Joe's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, when you get to know him, he's an incredibly funny guy. He's just not the traditional trash talker. Who just sits there and, you know, says insults at his opposite number. Yeah. He's a very thoughtful guy, he's a deep guy, and he's an intelligent guy.
The rest of the stable, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and reel off names, but I suppose a couple of things for you to just sort of point out.
Yeah, Florian Marcoux, Lerone Richards, two of our guys that have been out for a while. Lerone didn't box last time, he was injured just before the fight, and Florian hurt his hands in that Albania fight. Both of them out soon. Lerone with Grant Smith now, doing very well. Florian also with Grant Smith, back punching, which is amazing news. And we want to get Florian out probably in a couple months' time. Lerone a tick over soon, and then maybe out in June time, I hope. So big fights coming for those two. The rest of the stable. We've got Junaid, he'll be fighting.
What prospect, by the way.
Yeah, tremendous prospect. He'll be fighting probably in a couple months' time. Johnny Fisher fought last week, want him to get a Southern Area title, want him to start his movement up there. I think we want to do it the traditional way with Johnny, Southern Area, English, when Seoul moves on, British, and so on. But Johnny's, only 24, not like 29 like Seoul. Guido Vianello looking to box in Italy maybe in July this year. Tommy Fletcher's looking to be out soon again. Lisa Whiteside might have a fight soon, fingers crossed. Who else have I forgotten?
I think that's it.
No, I've definitely forgotten. I always forget someone. John Hedges should be out very soon, I can't say, but very, very soon. John Hedges. And I think that is most of the stable. I've definitely forgotten someone, haven't I?
Would that be Joshua Franklin, Carl?
Can't say anything.
Okay, I'll take that as I will. On the world of boxing as a whole, interested to your take. You've been involved with the makings of a lot of big fights over the sort of last couple of years. We're at a bit of a crossroads for Fury-Usyk. We've seen a lot of back and forth going on. Usyk's put out a tweet today saying, look, the ball's in your court now, Tyson. You've tried to give us so many stipulations, whatever. April 29, if you want it to happen, it's on your side now. It almost felt like Tyson said, look, take 70-30. Usyk took 70-30. Then they come with the rematch stuff and everything. From your side, do you think we see this fight?
I think we do. I think, when you make big fights, you have the headlines. Where's it going to be? What's going to be the purse split? And then there are lots of detail that follow on from that. When you have the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world, there's going to be a ton of detail that flows on from that, and it takes time. It probably takes 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, if you get everyone in the same room, you can do it quickly, but there may well be issues about TV around the world. There may be issues about rematches. There may be hundreds of different issues that pertain directly to the fight. And what's probably happened is Fury's put a time limit on it and said, right, 70-30 by this time, or I think he said it's £100,000 a day, or I can't remember what he said. He put a clock on it. Then Usyk's agreed to it, and now they're into actual contractual negotiations. I think that'll take 2 or 3 weeks. That's natural, but they're up against the clock with this April 29th deadline. So I think you'll probably see, I have no idea actually, probably see a lot of movement next week, but it definitely feels to me like the deal's really quite far advanced and is getting done. It just takes time with lawyers and people like that.
Obviously, it's a fight that sells itself, the first 4-belt undisputed heavyweight championship clash. But with that being said, I'm sure anyone would be lying if they said they wouldn't want to give that a full 8 to 10 week proper build-up. Do you think enough can be done, say it's made with 5 to 4 weeks of proper promotion to sell it how it deserves?
Yeah, look, I mean, you talk about how it deserves. I mean, it's a huge fight. It's the undisputed fight. I'd love it to be made next week, and I'd love it to happen April 29th. And then you have a very intense period of promotion for it. Could it have done with slightly longer promotion? I'm sure on both sides they'd like that. But I think boxing fans just want to see that fight on more than anything.
Just finally from me, Joe Joyce, I imagine eager to get in the ring with any of these guys when the opportunity calls.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Joe wants a big fight. He wants to fight the winner of Fury-Usyk, which in my opinion will probably be Fury. He wants to fight Joshua. He wants to fight Wilder. Wilder's promoter free now. Joshua, you've seen Queensberry and Matchroom collaborate before on big fights like they were for AJ Fury. And Tyson is in-house with Queensberry. So I'm really hopeful we'll get a really big fight for Joe Joyce this year.
Just quickly on that point, if Fury-Usyk isn't to be made, are you going to be pushed? I know he's got the WBO thing and everything, but are you going to try and push for, I know obviously both with Queensberry, get Fury-Joyce on, that would be a huge fight that would sell out Wembley. We know that Tyson spoke about wanting to have that fight.
Absolutely, I've been pushing for it for the last year. I've been talking about it for the last year. I'll push hard on that. You look at the mandatories, if you're talking about world titles, it goes WBA, IBF, WBO, so Joe's third on that. But I'll be pushing the WBO for that as well. It's all systems go for Joe Joyce. He's got to show how good he is, make another statement against Zhang, and then make people make that fight. Joe cannot be ignored if he makes a statement against Zhang and Fury wins. It is the toughest fight for Fury out there if he beats Usyk.
Adam Morallee, always a pleasure. Top man, nice seeing you this week and see you soon.
Cheers, Charlie.